Starting off, we are just about 2 weeks away from summer, and we know every single one of you want to be feeling your absolute best throughout this time. And I know this because all of our clients are getting ready for all the amazing events, and we get a lot of messages about this. So right now, we actually do have 3 discounted spots for anyone who's looking to get summer ready, but not just get summer ready, also keep it for the rest of their life. So send us a message with the keyword summer results to our Instagram, Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. We will get you guaranteed results, and we cannot wait to help some of you transform. Now into the episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Motivation Monday. As always, I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And we want to go ahead and thank you for tuning in for episode 499. And we also want to make sure you mark your calendars for this Thursday at 1 a.m. Pretty much as soon as Thursday hits, just an hour after, we'll be launching our episode 500. And we're going to go over 50 of the biggest things, 25 from each of us, that have impacted us as well as our community within the last 500 episodes. So that is going to be an amazing time to get some great summaries, some great reminders, and a lot of actionables to level up your journey. And we just want to thank every single one of you for being a listener, for getting to this point. It feels like we started this yesterday. So it's really cool to see that we've been able to get out this much content out, have this much of an impact, achieve tens of millions of downloads. It's been absolutely fantastic. So we want to thank every single one of you. It means the world. Now we're going to jump into our episode as we always do with a killer quote. What do you got, Kyle?
This week, mine is a little bit fun here, but it's still very true. Don't have $100 shoes and a 10-cent squat. And this is from Louis Simmons. He was the founder of Westside Barbell, and it's just some of the top lifters in the world who lift thousands and thousands of pounds, more than we could ever imagine. And I really like this quote because it gets you thinking. For me, what I get out of it is just that you want to focus on like the fundamentals. Like you want to be able to do a proper squat and focus on the basics before adding in a bunch of different accessories. And it got me thinking while I was out on a bike ride and doing some mountain bike, because last year I was out there with a $300 bike from Costco that I bought from Facebook Marketplace, and I was starting to get the hang of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm ready for a new bike. I went out, got a nice bike that was 10 times the price, and I was expecting everything to just be perfect, expecting it to all come together. But I realized that I'm a timid rider and I need to get better at just building that confidence, and just that alone I need to focus on before. Of course, the bike is great. It helps me go over bumps better. It does help a little bit with confidence, but it's not going to immediately fix everything. I've got to get over my fear of just falling off, of like hitting branches, of all this other stuff. And it's just a good reminder to focus on the basics and build up. And, that extra thing that you might think to add in may not solve the initial issue that could be taking place within something.
This is something I say quite often and something I've reflected on. I've always been a big fan of, if I want to do something, how can I just get out and try it first? It's so easy when you do something for the first time to get addicted to it. Maybe you go golfing, you love it, and you're like, I need the best stuff. Marketing this is, I'm going to hit further, more accurate. Oftentimes, you got to mature into being able to use the better things. So from what I've heard, like the better balls are more rigid, and if you hit them incorrectly, they're actually worse. But if you hit them just on, they're incredible. And the same with like different clubs and different bikes. And there's always exceptions to every rule. And it's really important you just don't overlook just trying to buy your way into something, and instead you really learn to enjoy it. And another thing I've been working on is taking advantage of renting, taking advantage of just trying things out before I overcommit to them, because that's sometimes how you can end up with a lot of stuff that you don't use or you don't truly love. It's really easy to be super passionate about something when you do it once or twice, but it's good to say, hey, if I can keep doing this, if I keep showing up, I'm going to invest in this thing or whatever it is. And I think that's a really good reminder, and it's easy just to look the part and try to buy all the best stuff and not spend the time actually working on your squat. And this has been one of my favorite quotes. I actually used to have an Inzer belt that I wrote all my favorite quotes on, and this was one of them I had it on, which I absolutely love. So killer quote today from Kyle. Now we're going to jump into my quote, which is a bit of a quote and a little bit of a fact, a little bit of a statement. It's just quite simply that overthinking will kill your happiness. And I wanted to add on to this with just the concept of action alleviates anxiety. So when you pair these two, it really seems to make things go together, in my opinion. So Kyle's going to talk about Jocko's book in a little bit. But even for me, one thing I love that he mentioned was, if you want to stop thinking about something, stop thinking about it. So if you're stressing out over a breakup, it's consuming you, you're always in your head getting upset about it, it's better just to ignore it. If someone did something that bugged you, they cut you off, and you keep thinking about it, how you want to get them back, how you want to speed up to cut them off and get in this fight, it's just not worth it. And you overthinking is killing your own happiness. And just the same, if you're overthinking things you need to do, like when to go to the gym, you're like, oh, maybe I'll skip it today. I only have 45 minutes. I don't have my normal hour. There's no point in me even going, and it's already late in the day. Overthinking is just going to kill your happiness because you need to do what you need to do. And that's where action will alleviate anxiety. Just doing that small thing, just taking that first step, even if it's not perfect, like just getting something done, getting out there. If you have a goal, if you have an ambition, it's better just to get started. Even if you make a mistake, that is totally okay. That's how you learn, that's how you improve, that's how you grow. So once again, overthinking will kill your happiness and action will alleviate anxiety. And I think the two pair perfectly. So those are the quotes I wanted to share for today.
Very fitting, and especially because going into the thought portion of things, as I was reading Jocko Willink's book, he's an individual, Navy SEAL, did all this leadership stuff. He's, very motivational, especially. I not even motivational. He actually talks more about discipline, which I absolutely love. As you probably heard from our Thursday episode, just all about discipline. And one of his biggest things was he said when something happens, look at it, he would always say good. So someone would come to him with a problem, maybe in the Navy or whatever it is, and he'd be like, good. And a lot of times people will look at him just like, wait, what? Like, how's that good? And it's very fitting because for him, it's all about learning and being able to navigate. And even for myself, for the first time ever, I'm starting to experience a little bit of knee pain. And I was making jokes in the gym with Josh. I wasn't squatting, but I was starting to learn more about different things that I can do to get through it and to navigate. And I was like, I'm feeling knee pain? Good. And it's funny because at first glance, you're like, wait, how is that good? But I'm starting to learn a lot more. I'm learning more about how to navigate this situation, how I can help other people go through stuff like this, about how to treat my body maybe in a bit of a different way to prevent it. And it's so easy to just look at it and be like, man, I can't believe this happens. It's over, just whatever's going through, whatever's going on within your life. And even one of the examples he had was if you don't get a job or something happens, maybe a relationship that isn't working out, he'd be like, good. And when you actually spend time thinking about what you can learn from it, improve upon, even for that job situation, you can actually spend more time improving your communication skills. Like whatever it is that they give you in terms of feedback, you can learn from that. Like it's actually kind of a good thing that stuff happens because it forces you to learn, to grow, to evolve, to challenge yourself. And instead of looking at it as a victim mentality and something happened, woe is me, good, this is a great learning experience. Let's take it and see what we can do and go on from there. So that's all I really had for today.
I love that portion of the book as well. And this is from the book, Discipline Over Motivation. Is that the correct name of it, I believe?
I think Discipline Equals Freedom.
Discipline Equals Freedom. That's it. It's a black and white book. It's not so much a book as it is like kind of a journal. He just kind of writes out, I guess, his thoughts and motivation. But it's a really good coffee table book. And I definitely would recommend looking into it if you like a little bit of that hoorah motivation. But I think that mindset that any obstacle that comes at you, you can reframe, even if it's the worst thing. Like, who would think knee pain could be a good thing? But this could be Kyle saying, oh, this is a warning that I overdid it. I did something wrong. I need to make adjustments. I need to spend more time learning how to avoid this, because it's your body giving you that warning sign. If you're overweight right now, good. You can learn how to get off that weight, learn to be healthy, and learn how to work with it. If you missed a workout, you have an opportunity to see how you can kind of fit it in a different part of your schedule. There's always opportunity. And when you look at it that way, instead of woe is me, going to overthinking, this is the worst, I have knee pain, I don't want this to happen, I'm so young, I don't want knee pain later in life, oh no, what can I do? Instead, Kyle's taking control, he's learning how to get after it. And I just think that is an incredible reminder of just how to reframe a negative into a positive. And I guess just continuing with the thoughts, one thing I've really been excited about is now it's been about 4 or 5 months. I've been getting up pretty much every day just before, like in the 6 a.m. type of range, and I've done it consistently. I've maybe been one day I think I've slept in past that, but I've really been making a point to be consistent with it. And it's just been amazing how fighting that snooze, enjoying summer. It started with in Florida, I'm like, I'm going to beat the sun up every single day. I'm going to make sure I'm beating the sun, and I kind of made it earlier and earlier because there's something special about getting outside, seeing that sunrise, getting sun on your skin, getting sun exposure. It's a phenomenal thing. But now that I've kept to this practice, I get up, I go on my walk, I start my morning routine, and it's just such a constant, and I feel amazing. And I've really noticed now that I've made this such a habit, and I've done this so consistently without fail, just the clarity I get in the mornings, the focus, the excitement, and even just regulation of your sleep patterns. The more you can get that consistent wake up time, the better. I make a point to be up by 6, and sometimes I got to wake up a little bit earlier. I'll extend my walk, I'll extend my morning, I'll extend my reading, and it'll be like a reward to myself. But by really forcing yourself to fight that urge to have what you think that one day is going to make you feel better, hitting snooze a few times, sleeping in, you're actually going to net feel way better by really keeping to that routine, seeing the beauty of maximizing your mornings and getting after it. And I can definitely say the longer I've committed to this, the better it's felt. So that's one thing that's been on my mind that I wanted to share.
And that's the power of consistency too, which is amazing because that's the thing that was really on the top of my head. And the other day I was just writing an email. If you actually want to get on an email list, every Monday I'll write an update email just about what's going on, some podcast updates. Maybe actually I've been started including quotes because Josh said that would be a great idea. And I'm like, all right, cool, we'll do that. So you can hit the first link below. You'll get our free fast food guide, which we'll talk about afterwards, and also get on that list. But as I was reflecting and the fact that we're on episode 500 in the next episode, the thing that came to my attention was just consistency, like just brutal, amazing, like every word you can imagine, consistency. And even looking back, like there have been probably about 100 times where it would have been like we don't think about it, but there in the very beginning, especially be like, like we could do this, but like we could also like, there's always going to be something that pops up, especially when you give yourself that option. And even going through so many different things between any sicknesses that have taken place, just any times where we wouldn't even meet up, even just at the start of COVID, it was a huge challenge because we're like, how are we going to do this? Like we started filming it on audio through like Zoom for any of you guys who remember, Josh having his son now that's just about 10 months old, like going through that, like we made sure to plan and like just, hey, you've got this appointment. Okay, cool. We'll get it done earlier. Hey, we have this thing going on. We have this trip. Consistency. And that's what so many people need to hear for their fitness journey is that if you show up, no matter what the outcome is, no matter what's happening, and you just get it done, you're going to be unstoppable. And I attribute like all of our growth to just showing up every single time. If we had those times where it's like you were not putting out episodes and like you think you're going to get a Monday episode and you're not, like I bet you a lot of you wouldn't show up anymore, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't even know if it's going to actually go up. So consistency is key. You've heard us say it over and over again. Take note of that. Apply that to your life, to your fitness journey. It's not to brag. It's something that we're so passionate about. So hopefully that helped you in one way or another.
Consistency compounds. And even with the waking up, what really inspired me as I was listening to this one guy, Kyle mentioned last time, Bedros, and for him, he just said, if that one day you think, oh, I have more time, so I'm going to sleep in, it messes up your sleep for the next night, messes up your morning. You'll feel that grogginess. You won't feel as settled. And it's amazing how even just doing that small thing, winning each day, and even for me, it removes that flinch for my walk. Because for a while, I didn't want to go on those walks. I'm like, oh, this is brutal. It's cold, especially when it wasn't summer. But now it's what I do. I get up, I chug my water, I go out on my walk, I get sunlight exposure, I feel fresh, I feel good. And it's just something that goes a long way. And it's the same with the gym. It doesn't matter if I'm in a great mood, a bad mood, if I don't want to do it, if I'm tired, if I'm sore, I go to the gym, I get it done. And it's just doing those small, basic, boring things that compounds. Consistency compounds. Weighing in the mornings, tracking your food. We're going to talk about this a lot more in episode 500, but just showing up and giving yourself that privilege of doing those small things and actually analyzing what you want. It's like in the moment, you might say, that slice of cake I had was really good. I budgeted. It felt amazing. It can be similar to say, ooh, well, maybe I'll just have one or two more. And you think in that moment you want it. But if you think really rationally about what's best for me, what's going to compound to more success, me enjoying eating this cake for the next 45 seconds if you eat cake really quickly, or me just saying no to this, enjoying that slice I had, really cherishing it, maybe taking a slice home for tomorrow and feeling amazing that you stuck to your goals, you're on track, and you're able to have your cake. So you can have your cake and you can eat it too, but just winning these small battles, understanding how the little things actually connect to the big things. And as I always say, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's just such an important quote, and it's an important way to live. So that's our thoughts for today's episode. We hope you did enjoy that. And now we're going to jump into our client shout out. So who do we got for this week?
So this week we have Chris, who absolutely crushed it with Coach Krista. If you are watching on YouTube, first of all, just comment down below squad. That would mean the world just because it helps the algorithm. But above that, you can also see an amazing email that he wrote along with transformation photos. And this just really stood out to me, especially because he did open up and share some things that he was going through. And this alone, this coaching program, him showing up for himself, having the accountability, having that guidance, helped him in so many different ways. And you can see he said, for the past 4 months, I've made it to the gym about 5 times a week. I can't even recognize myself anymore. I'm waking up, going to work, playing volleyball, in a sports league, taking acting classes, and all this amazing stuff. And he said, I needed to express my gratitude to Colossus Fitness. My family and friends have noticed a difference, and they're so happy to see me doing well. He said all this great stuff, which you can see, but what really stood out was also on Instagram, or sorry, it was in the Facebook group when he shared his success, and I commented back to him, and he said, it all started with that, like, that initial message. Like, that's the message that is always so hard, is like asking for help, is like reaching out for that support, for that guidance, especially because you're stepping out of your comfort zone there. It's admitting, saying, hey, I need some support. And I think a lot of times people let their ego get in the way, and I'm guilty of this for other things in the past that aren't exactly my specialty. And that's why I just want to say amazing job, Chris. I know you're listening to this. And if you are someone who's just holding back, who you're not seeing, nothing's changing, right? You know, just you've been showing up, you've been trying to show up, and you're not getting those results. Please send us a message with the keyword summer results. We will take care of you. I can promise you, we don't judge. Our goal is to hold you accountable and just be that outlet that you need in terms of support. So we can't wait to help 3 of you awesome people. And great job, Chris. And we look forward to hearing from you on Instagram at Colossus Fit for anyone who wants to apply.
And oftentimes, there's a reason we get massive transformations. That's because we do a bird's eye view on your life. We make sure we're taking care of not only your nutrition, your training, your programming, but your planning, your mindset. This is the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast. Our coaching goes a level deeper because we look at energy levels, we look at food satiety, and we make sure it's fitting in with your life, your schedule, and is addressing your available challenges. All of us have different situations, different obstacles, different advantages, and these are all things that should be important. And that's why you don't want to be put on some one-size-fit-all program. If you just go through my program, that is not the best for you. And we're all so uniquely different. There's movements I love doing in the gym, and I think they're phenomenal movements that I think are horrible for Kyle. They don't make sense. They don't work. And the same with me. We're all entirely different, of different leverages. We feel things differently. We respond differently. And it's really important your programming really focuses on that. And that's why when you have a coach to guide you through this on a deeper level, your results just bloom. Like, you go to whole new levels. So don't miss out on this. This is your chance, your guaranteed chance to see change. Instead of guessing through the process, stumbling, hoping you find your way to a better place, reach out to us. Let us take care of you. Let us help you, because we are really excited to do that. And that's what we do for a living. That's what we do for a passion. So if you want your summer results, once again, DM us summer results on Instagram to @ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT. Now into the mailbag. So for the first question for today, we have, with summer approaching, I'm already starting to notice the struggles. I'm on a journey and have about 20 more pounds to lose. However, I love going out with friends, traveling, etc. Any tips to manage this?
This is a really good question, and it's something that I know a lot of people are starting to experience with the nicer weather and just trips and everything, barbecues, whatever the situation is, celebrations, and there's a bunch of things that we can address. I'm just going to give my first tip. I know Josh will have a lot, but it is that you will have to make sacrifices. I love sharing that flexible dieting is amazing. You can fit things in. You can have ice cream cones. You can do stuff and still get some incredible results. But you can't do everything. Like, if there's a specific dinner, like even myself, I've actually encountered this a few times recently where I had special events and I was really looking forward to it, but I couldn't just go into it with the regular day that I'd usually have. I couldn't have my regular breakfast, my regular lunch, or else that would just throw me off track. So I started to plan ahead. I started to think, you know what? Okay, in the morning, I'm just going to have a lot more protein. I'm actually not going to have anything else. And it felt amazing because I was able to hit all my calories. I was able to hit my protein, which is part of our challenge, is hitting protein, hitting calories, and just being one step ahead, having that planned, but also just like making those sacrifices as well goes such a long way. Like, I'll give you an example. If you wake up, you have your regular breakfast, your regular lunch, and then go into dinner and it's a special event, you're not going to be able to have that appetizer, just the main course, like the desserts, like all the drinks and stuff, like without feeling like you're falling off track. And to get towards that 20-pound mark that you're looking to lose, you're going to have to make those sacrifices and not going to be able to squeeze everything in without proper planning and whatnot. So that's going to be my biggest tip. And even just sharing it with other people around will go such a long way, letting them know what you're doing, the journey you're on. People will be supportive if you let them know, but if you don't let them know, they won't even know what's going on, so they won't be able to support you.
To get somewhere you've never been, you need to do something you've never done. We've said it before, we'll say it again, but you can easily have success with going out on events, with doing things you want. Oftentimes, just reaching down deep and doing what you need to do in those circumstances. You're away, you're with friends, maybe you're at a cottage and you're there the entire week, but you should be going to the gym. None of them care to go to the gym. There's no gym in the area. You can get up an hour earlier, like I just said, go out, hit a bodyweight workout, get that done, stay on track. While everyone else is having excess of something, you can just double down, hit the barbecue, make a little more chicken. If you're going out to restaurants, it's not hard to order a bunch of veggies, a really lean protein. Even like a tip we actually just posted on our Instagram recently was to skip the drink of your meal and maybe the $10 you'll spend there and double your protein on whatever you're eating. So if you're getting some form of chicken breast, get 2 of them and have that instead. And maybe you're going to have 2 drinks instead. You say, I'm going to have 1 drink. I'm going to double that protein. I'm going to feel more full because of it. I'm going to pay a little bit extra for a big salad. You just have to do those things that are a little bit harder that are actually going to produce that change. Too many people will say they want to lose weight in the summer. They'll make some effort. They'll go get a healthy lunch instead of an unhealthy one, and that's the only change they'll make. They won't do anything different. But I really just love the mantra of what would a healthy person do. Continue to ask yourself that, reflect on it. Yesterday I had like a really delicious scone and I loved it. And because I had that, I was like, oh, at Chipotle, and I was able to have that. I'm like, I won't get as big of a portion in this part, or I'm not going to have this snack midday, or when I go to this particular mall, I'll get a cookie, but I had that scone. So I'm like, I'm not going to have that cookie. But in that moment where a lot of people go wrong, is go, this is a day where I'm just enjoying myself. And they'll have that cookie, they'll get that extra side tortilla, they'll get something else, they'll be 1,000 over. Then the next day, they'll be like, I'm not going to weigh in. Then the next day, they'll be halfway there, and then they'll weigh in, they'll see they're up 3 pounds. They'll be like, this diet sucks, doesn't work. Whereas instead, you gotta do that. You gotta win those situations. You're going out, you have no calories, you gotta say, well, I'm good for the night, I'm full, or I'm just sticking to my goals. Or you're waking up a little bit earlier, even though you don't want to, and doing that workout. Like, it does take work, but once again, that's where success comes from. Pressure is a privilege. Pressure makes a diamond. There's a reason they say that. And really just seeing change in a summer situation, you just got to be on your grind. And really it just comes down to getting your workouts done, taking care of yourself mentally, and eating good food, being in your calories, getting that protein, giving yourself that ability to hit it better. So triple down on those veggies, triple down on those lean proteins. You can feel very full, have a lot of success, and be in a great place. If I'm out at a pub, maybe it's not super exciting. Everyone's getting a huge burger with a ton of fries. Maybe I can get a massive salad with double chicken breasts. I'm going to feel so satisfied. I'm going to be there partaking. I'm going to feel really good. And then there's times where I will have that burger. The other day I had that burger and fries for lunch. I had a super healthy dinner option instead. Like, it's just, you got to learn to navigate that and just go all in. Just say, I'm going to succeed no matter what. Pre-log, use all those little tools, and you'll be totally fine. I promise you. It's a really good time to actually get shredded because you can see the result of it more. If you're shredding in the winter, it's not very exciting because you're wearing a coat everywhere and you're like, why am I doing this? But in the summer, it's just so exciting. We're at that beach, you're looking good, people are noticing. It really does go a long way.
And like, similar to what everything Josh said was so spot on. I loved it. And it got me thinking of just doing what's best for you, especially because everyone is in such a different scenario and in a different place. And I think a lot of times people feel guilty making that like decision that seems healthier because they see other people doing different things. A lot of times I can plan for it, and I usually do. Like, similar to Josh's burger example, like, that's awesome. And usually I would be able to plan something like that too. And recently I was in a situation where I didn't have as many calories left, but I was like, oh, I'm still going to go out and enjoy it. And I just ordered a nice little grilled chicken wrap with like a side salad, like their healthier option with less calories. And, you know, of course I was like thinking how great it would be to fit something else in, but it's fighting that urge of just like giving in every single time, right? There's times where, once again, I plan for it, I allocate it, but I'd say like a lot of times there's so many different decisions within the day. And if you give in every single time, you're going to have no self-discipline. You're not going to make progress. And even myself, who I do consume like quite a few more calories because, you know, I'm super active, like I've just built up and done all these different phases. Like, if I were to do everything I wanted with my initial instinct of like, no, get this, like, oh, you know, have the dessert, have that, like, there's just no way to succeed because there's so many great options out there. And it's like, you do have to plan, you do have to think of just like that healthy option. Like, what will a healthy person do? I didn't exactly want that chicken wrap and salad, but I felt so much better. My weigh-in the next day was awesome. I stayed on track. I didn't feel guilty. And you have to think of those things further than like I see my other friend, I'm getting all this stuff and I'm like, man, that'd be good. But like, I don't need it. I'm good. I don't need it. and it feels amazing to do stuff like that, to differentiate yourself from the crowd. And that's all I have for that question. It's an amazing one. I'm passionate about it, and hopefully that helped you today.
Awesome. And if you want that extra accountability and that help, we would love to do that, to guide you through it. Knowing you have a coach, knowing someone's telling you exactly what to do, where to focus, how to navigate these situations, having someone in your pocket who you can message at any time and say, what can I do here? What's the best move? And being able to hear directly from me and Kyle is just a powerful thing. So if you want to take advantage of that, once again, 3 spots at an incredible rate. Message us on Instagram saying summer results at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT on Instagram, and we would love to help you out. Now into the second question, I'm having trouble managing time and prioritizing. What tips do you have for me? So it's hard to know with the specifics here where they're having a trouble managing time and prioritizing. We'll take this through a health and fitness standpoint, I suppose. So the big thing I would say is like be intelligent with where you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. So for me, I would take the 2 seconds in the morning to download my fitness pal, start pre-logging throughout the day. If you're really busy, you have a lot going on, start to kind of know what you're going to be eating, and then it's like following an instruction guide through the day. This is something I love to do. Today I knew what I was going to have for breakfast, my Greek yogurt. I knew I was going to Silas with Kyle. I didn't know I was getting double chicken, so I'll just modify, add that extra chicken. I have a tentative idea what my dinner is. As we're recording this, it's the Ted Lasso finale, and he always makes shortbreads in the show, which is funny. So we're making shortbreads tonight, shortbread cookies, and I'm going to have like 360 calories of them. I'm really excited. I have that budgeted out. I know exactly how many I'm having. I can enjoy that guilt-free. I built my day around it, and with being busy now, it's like an instruction guide. I know what I'm eating. I know I have a crust chips for a snack at lunch. Like, it's so freeing. Pre-log, it's like one of the best things you can do, and for me that saves me quite a lot of time. I'm not wasting time wondering what I'm going to eat. I'm not panicking in the last second, really hungry, going out and getting the quickest thing I can that my brain says you need food, you need calories, you're going to die. Instead, I have that all planned out. Same with the gym. Know when you're going to the gym, where you're going to the gym, and what you're training, and stick to it, get it done. And if you're serious about doing it, you'll likely do it in the morning, because that's kind of the time where things can't get shifted around. If you have no option, do it in the afternoon. Make sure you go at that time you say you're going to go. Don't put it off, and just prioritize the things that you know are going to make you feel better. By me doing that, I know I'm eating great food. I feel fantastic. I'm saving money, cooking at home more. I'm also, when I know I'm hitting my workouts, I know I feel fantastic. I get that burst of energy, that confidence. I'm working towards my goals. It goes a long way. Just the same, I prioritize my sleep because I know that's the dot that connects everything else. I'll prioritize making sure I have water available. Just winning these small battles lead to these big results. And I find in terms of prioritizing, you just need to be honest with it and do those couple small things. People will say, I have no time. I can't even pre-log. And I just have to call that out, because I guarantee you there's little lulls where you're sitting like on Instagram or something, or you're in between your car before you go into work. You're just like looking through your emails. Like, use that time, find that little bit of time in the morning, connect the dots, start planning, have a tentative plan. And you can always work backwards from that. It's a lot better than being stranded and having no idea what to do.
I think just similar to what Josh was saying there, like being honest with yourself is so important, because yeah, like you can say I don't have time for this, but then let's say check your screen time. Like when you call yourself out, like, and if it's like a small amount and you use it and you only check it a few times a day, that's cool. But I'd say for most people who say that they wouldn't have time for something like that, like logging, then it'd be like, 3, 4, 5 hours of screen time, right? And just being honest, even just when it comes to working out, right? There's some people who say I don't have time for fitness, but then you check like it's hard to check this, but like how much you watch TV within the week, it'll probably be multiple hours. And that, I'm not saying this specifically to one individual, but just in general, I find stuff like this happens very often. I used to be someone who would just make these different excuses about time, and then I'm like, man, like I literally slept in a little bit today. Like how am I saying I have no time when I would have had 30 minutes this morning? But my biggest thing on top of what Josh said is just having a calendar. I would be nothing without my calendar. I live by it. It gives me good direction. A lot of times I don't have to check it as much because it's such a habit. I show up to the gym 9:30. It's no problem. I put it in there. But for me, downloading the Google Calendar app and color coding it also allows you to see what your priorities are. So even for me, my color purple is my fitness and health related stuff and personal. Red is our Colossus fitness stuff, filming podcasts, our work. My orange is my reading time. Like, so when you look at it, you can also see what your priorities are and what you're actually spending more time on. If you put your TV time in there at the end of the night and you see that it's like boom, red, like, 7-10 hours a week or whatever, and you're saying you don't have time for fitness, it can show you and be like, maybe I can change this. Maybe I can go to the gym here and make this small little change. So the calendar's everything, and it's absolutely game changing. It's helped my life in so many different ways, because I used to have not as much direction. I'd be all over the place, and it helps a ton. So that's going to be my biggest tip for today.
All right, now into the third and final question for today's episode. Should you space out your workouts throughout the day or just do it all at once?
So this one, I do believe like there was a lot of talk of just like splitting up workouts. I remember not too long ago, people would do like 20 minutes, and just like, maybe it was during COVID when people were at home more and stuff like that. But honestly, like it's a simple question. Like a simple answer. I would say just doing it all at once makes so much more sense. Like, to me, I don't want to have that thought the entire day of like, okay, I've done like 15 minutes this morning, then at lunch I'm going to do another 15, and then it doesn't really make much sense. And I remember there was someone saying that it gives you better benefits, but to me it takes like a while to get into the zone anyways. So I think it's just kind of defeats the purpose, and it's just not worth it at all. However, the one thing I will suggest for most people is trying to split up your strength training and your cardio. And I've had to share this with a few clients in their check-ins, because they've said to me that they do their strength training in the morning, and then they're having a hard time right after, like before work, like still squeezing in that cardio while they're there. And once I started suggesting maybe breaking it up, like such as doing the strength training in the morning, doing your cardio like at lunch if that's what you want to do, or later on, maybe walk your dogs later, then that's totally awesome. A lot of people started to see better benefits just time management wise, because they didn't feel like they had to be in there for 2 hours. You would do your strength training, you would get out of there, and then you could do your cardio later on. And I think that's honestly what works best, or vice versa. You can do your cardio early in the morning and then strength training after work, whatever it is. But that's my answer there. Short and simple. That's what I got for today there.
I really recommend not complicating it. I know some people will be like, oh, I could do 30 minutes here and later. It's just going to make you dread it more. It's going to make it that much more difficult of a barrier to entry to just getting it done. And instead, I really recommend just enjoy your gym time, budget in that hour of your day pretty much, make the most of it, be in there, be focused, use that time to relax, listen to some music, get some good breaths, work on yourself, feel those amazing results of having more energy, satisfaction, getting endorphins, feeling great. Like, use that time. It's way easier and makes more sense. If you're absolutely stuck, like you could do this, I just find it's not a sustainable practice. And once again, your body, when you're in that state, when you're in that focus and you do that, and then you get sore and tired and you got to do it again later, it's just kind of unnecessary, especially if you're just a gen pop person wanting to look great, wanting to be fit. The one thing I do is sometimes I'll break up my cardio for my lifting, so you're not there way too long, especially if you do a big density of volume like I do. Sometimes I'll do that, and then I'll budget in cardio for later. Even today we did legs, we'll go rock climbing later. It's not like I need to do them back to back to be okay, but in terms of your strength training sessions, you will be a lot better off just doing them all at once. So I would like to push that. And if you're looking for a custom periodized routine that's going to help you get results better, faster, as well as just having an amazing coach by your side to guide you through everything fitness, nutrition, health related, go ahead, message us some summer results on Instagram to @ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT. We want to thank you so much for tuning in today for episode 499, and we'll see you for episode 500 on Thursday. Peace out.